In the ancient kingdom of Ashanti, where the baobab trees whispered secrets older than memory itself, there lived a queen named Amara. Her beauty was said to rival the morning sun, her wisdom deeper than the great rivers. But on the day she ordered every mirror in the kingdom destroyed, the people knew something terrible had happened. The royal drummers carried her decree to every village, every compound, every home. By order of Queen Amara, all mirrors must be brought to the palace square and shattered. Any person found hiding a mirror will vanish into the earth itself, never to return. The people obeyed. They had no choice. For 3 days and 3 nights, the sound of breaking glass echoed through the kingdom like 1,000 thunderstorms. Mountains of shattered mirrors glittered in the square, catching the sunlight in ways that hurt the eyes. But what the people whispered in the darkness was this. What had Queen Amara seen in her mirror that made her fear her own reflection? Our story begins not with Queen Amara, but with a young girl named Esi who lived in a small village at the edge of the kingdom. Esi was a weaver's daughter, known throughout her village for her kindness and her clever tongue. She had skin like polished ebony and eyes that sparkled with mischief and intelligence. On the morning of the mirror decree, Esi's grandmother, Mama Abina, sat on her stool outside their compound, grinding pepper with hands worn smooth by 90 rainy seasons. "Grandmother," Esi asked, helping her with the grinding, "why would the queen destroy all the mirrors? How will the women know if their head wraps are tied properly? How will the warriors know if their faces are painted for ceremony?" Mama Abina's ancient eyes grew distant. "Child, I have lived long enough to see 3 monarchs rule this land. I have seen droughts and floods, wars and peace. But I have never seen a ruler fear their own face. This is not about vanity, Esi. This is about truth." "What truth, grandmother?" The old woman's voice dropped to a whisper. "Mirrors do not lie. They show us exactly what we are, not what we wish to be. Perhaps Queen Amara has seen something in herself she cannot bear to face." That night, as Esi lay on her sleeping mat, she remembered the small bronze mirror her mother had left her before she died. It was no bigger than her palm, polished until it gleamed like moonlight on water. Her mother had told her, "This mirror belonged to your great-great-grandmother. It has seen the truth of our family for 5 generations. Guard it well." Esi crept to the corner where she had hidden it beneath a loose stone. The mirror felt warm in her hands, almost alive. She looked into it, and for a moment, she could have sworn she saw not her own face, but her mother's, smiling at her with infinite sadness. She could not destroy it. She would not. The next morning, Esi's village awoke to terrible news. Old man Kwaku, the herbalist who lived alone on the outskirts, had vanished. His compound was empty, his cooking fire cold, his sleeping mat undisturbed. But in the center of his room, they found a small hand mirror, cracked down the middle. The queen's guards arrived before noon, their faces grim. They questioned everyone, their hands resting on the curved blades at their waists. The message was clear. The queen's decree was absolute. Fear spread through the village like smoke. People began to watch each other with suspicious eyes. Who else might be hiding a mirror? Who would be next to disappear? But Esi noticed something the others did not. In the dust of Kwaku's compound, there were no footprints leading away, no signs of struggle. It was as if the earth had simply opened up and swallowed him whole, just as the decree had promised. That evening, Esi went to see Kofi, the blacksmith's son, who had been her friend since childhood. Kofi was tall and strong, with arms like tree trunks from working the forge, but his heart was gentle. "Esi," he said, his voice low as they sat beneath the Irako tree. "I need to tell you something. My father kept a mirror. He said it was the last thing my mother touched before she died, giving birth to me. He could not destroy it." Esi's heart clenched. "Where is your father now?" "In the forge, working." "But Esi, I am afraid. What if the guards find out? What if he disappears like Kwaku?" "Then we must discover the truth," Esi said firmly. "We must find out what happens to those who keep mirrors, and why the queen fears them so much." Esi made a decision that would change everything. She would go to the palace and seek an audience with the queen. She would ask directly what everyone whispered about in shadows. Mama Abina tried to stop her. "Child, you cannot question a queen. She will have you thrown into the darkest prison." But Esi was determined. "Grandmother, people are disappearing. Fear is eating our kingdom from the inside, like termites in wood. Someone must speak the truth to power, even if that truth costs them everything. The old woman looked at her granddaughter with eyes full of pride and sorrow. You have your mother's courage and your father's stubborn heart. Very well, but take this. She pressed a small leather pouch into ESI's hand. These are seeds from the oldest baobab tree in our land. If you are in danger, plant them and speak these words. Ancestors, I call upon the roots that bind us. The journey to the capital took ESI 3 days. She walked through forests where monkeys chattered warnings from the canopy, across rivers where crocodiles watched with ancient eyes, through grasslands where the wind sang songs of old battles and older loves. On the third evening, she reached the palace. It rose before her like a mountain of clay and gold, its walls decorated with intricate patterns that told the history of the kingdom. But something was wrong. The palace, which should have been alive with music and laughter, was silent as a tomb. The guards at the gate looked at her with hollow eyes. What do you want, village girl? I seek an audience with Queen Amara. The guards laughed, but there was no joy in the sound. The queen sees no one. The queen speaks to no one. The queen sits in her chamber and stares at the wall where her mirror used to hang. But an old woman, a palace servant, overheard. She beckoned ESI aside. You want to know about the mirrors, don't you, child? Yes, grandmother. People are disappearing. We are afraid. The servant's eyes filled with tears. The chew. That night, ESI did something foolish and brave. She snuck into the palace. She moved like a shadow through corridors decorated with tapestries showing the great deeds of Amara's ancestors. She passed chambers where courtiers slept fitfully, and halls where guards stood like statues, their faces troubled. Finally, she found the queen's chamber. The door was not locked. ESI pushed it open slowly. Queen Amara sat on a stool in the center of the room, staring at a blank wall. Even in the dim lamplight, ESI could see that the queen was beautiful beyond description. Her skin glowed like copper, her features were perfectly sculpted, her body was adorned with gold and precious beads. But her eyes were empty, haunted by something only she could see. Your Majesty, ESI whispered. The queen did not turn. Another one who has kept a mirror. You have come to vanish like the others. No, Your Majesty. I have come to understand. Now the queen turned, and ESI saw the depths of her despair. Understand? How can you understand when I do not understand myself? I looked into my mirror and saw. What did you see? Amara's voice broke. I saw a monster. Not a beautiful queen, but something twisted and ugly. I saw cruelty in my eyes, greed in my smile, vanity in every gesture. The mirror showed me the truth of my soul, and I could not bear it. ESI stepped closer. Your Majesty, may I show you something? Before the queen could respond, ESI pulled out her small bronze mirror. The guards who had silently entered the room gasped, reaching for their weapons. But Queen Amara raised her hand. Look, ESI said gently, holding up the mirror to the queen. What do you see? Amara looked, and her eyes widened. I see myself. Just myself. Beautiful, yes, but also tired. Afraid. Human. The mirror shows truth, Your Majesty, but truth has many faces. What you saw before was not the whole truth. It was only the parts of yourself you feared most, grown large in you. Your imagination, but as the queen stared into ESI's mirror, something extraordinary happened. The reflection began to shimmer and change. And suddenly, both women saw not Queen Amara, but an old woman with a twisted face, cackling with malevolent glee. ESI recognized her immediately from the stories her grandmother told. Mommy Wada's sister, she whispered. The jealous spirit who envies human beauty. The image in the mirror spoke. Yes, foolish mortals. I cursed the queen's mirror 6 moons ago, making it show only her fears and flaws. I knew her vanity would consume her, that she would destroy every mirror in the kingdom, preventing anyone from seeing the truth. And with each mirror destroyed, my power grows stronger. Queen Amara staggered backward. But why? What have I done to you? Your great-great-grandmother once refused to worship me, choosing instead to honor the true spirits of the land. For 5 generations, I have waited for my revenge. And now, with every person who vanishes for keeping a mirror, their spirit feeds my power. Soon, I will be strong enough to walk in the mortal world and rule this kingdom myself. Esi's mind raced. The people who disappeared, they are not dead. They are trapped in the mirror realm, neither living nor dead, their spirits slowly being consumed. The queen fell to her knees. What have I done? In my vanity and fear, I have condemned my own people. But Esi remembered her grandmother's words. She reached into her pouch and pulled out the baobab seeds. Ancestors, she called out, her voice strong and clear. I call upon the roots that bind us. The seeds began to glow in Esi's palm. The spirit in the mirror shrieked as roots made of pure light burst from the ground, wrapping around the mirror. But the spirit was powerful, and it fought back. You cannot defeat me, little girl. I have fed on fear and vanity for 6 moons. I am stronger than your ancestors' magic. Queen Amara stood, and for the first time in months, her voice carried the authority of a true ruler. But you have not fed on love, spirit. You have not fed on courage or sacrifice or the bonds that hold a people together. She turned to Esi. Your grandmother was right. Mirrors show truth. And the truth is that I have been a vain, foolish ruler. I let my fear of my own flaws harm my people. But that ends now. The queen placed her hand on Esi's mirror, joining her voice to the young woman's call. Ancestors of the Ashanti, hear me. I am Amara, descended from warriors and wise women, from just kings and compassionate queens. I have failed your legacy, but I will fail it no longer. The light from the baobab seeds grew brighter, and now it was joined by other lights. The spirits of the ancestors, drawn by the queen's repentance and Esi's courage, appeared in the chamber. They were transparent as morning mist, but powerful as the sun. The jealous spirit screamed as the ancestors' power overwhelmed her curse. The mirror shattered, but instead of breaking into pieces, it exploded into 1,000,000 points of light. And from each point of light emerged one of the disappeared people, including Old Man Kwaku and Kofi's father. They materialized in the chamber, confused but whole, their spirits restored. The jealous spirit's voice faded to nothing. This is not over. Mirrors will always show what you fear. Always. And then she was gone, banished back to the spirit realm by the combined power of love, courage, and the ancestors' blessing. Queen Amara ordered a great ceremony. She commanded the finest craftspeople in the kingdom to create new mirrors, beautiful mirrors that would be distributed to every household. But these mirrors were different. Before they were given out, each one was blessed by the elders with these words. May you show not just the face, but the heart. May you reflect not just beauty, but truth. May you remind us that we are all flawed and all worthy. The queen herself stood before her people in the palace square and spoke words that would be remembered for generations. My people, I failed you. In my vanity, I looked into a mirror expecting to see perfection, and when I saw flaws, I was afraid. But a wise young woman taught me that truth has many faces. Yes, we all have darkness within us. We all have greed, fear, and cruelty hiding in our hearts. But we also have light. We have courage, love, and compassion. The mirror shows us both, and it is our choice which one we feed. She turned to Esi, who stood beside her. This young woman risked everything to save her people and her queen. She is braver than any warrior, wiser than any advisor. From this day forward, she will serve as the keeper of truth in my court, and her voice will be heard in all councils. Esi bowed, but she also smiled. Your Majesty, I am honored. But I must return to my village, to my grandmother who taught me that truth matters more than power. However, I will visit your court each season and speak truth to you, whether you wish to hear it or not. The queen laughed, and it was the first genuine laugh she had made in 6 moons. That is exactly why you must do this, child. A ruler surrounded only by those who tell her what she wants to hear is a ruler already defeated. When Esi returned to her village, she was greeted as a hero. But she insisted she was just a weaver's daughter who had been brave when bravery was needed. Mama Abina held her granddaughter close. You did well, child. You did well. I was afraid, grandmother. So afraid. Of course you were. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite the fear. That evening, as the village celebrated the return of Kofi's father and the end of the mirror curse, Esi sat with Kofi beneath their iroko tree. What was it like, he asked. Facing a spirit? Speaking truth to a queen. ESI looked at her small bronze mirror, which had survived the battle with only a small crack across one corner. It was terrifying. But Kofi, the most terrifying thing was not the spirit or the queen. It was looking into this mirror and wondering what I would see. Would I see courage or cowardice? Wisdom or foolishness? And what did you see? She smiled. I saw myself. Flawed and frightened, yes. But also brave. Also kind. The mirror showed me that I am not one thing or another. I am all things, light and shadow together. And that is enough. Kofi nodded slowly. The queen was right to make you the keeper of truth. You understand something most people never learn. What is that? That the hardest person to be truthful with is yourself. Years passed. Queen Amara ruled with wisdom and justice, always keeping a mirror in her chamber to remind her to see herself truthfully. ESI traveled between her village and the palace, speaking truth to power and helping the people understand that their flaws did not make them unworthy, but human. The mirrors in the kingdom became symbols not of vanity, but of honesty. Parents gave them to their children with this blessing. May you always have the courage to see yourself clearly and the wisdom to love what you see. And sometimes, late at night, people would swear they could see their ancestors looking back at them from their reflections, smiling with pride at the courage it took to face the truth. Old Man Kwaku, restored from the mirror realm, became a teacher of young people. He would tell them, I vanished because I clung to the past, to my dead wife's memory, unable to face the present. The mirror realm taught me that we must honor the past, but live in the now. Kofi's father would add, and I kept my mirror out of love, yes, but also out of refusal to move forward after loss. Sometimes love means letting go and allowing new life to grow. The kingdom prospered, and whenever someone asked why, the elders would smile and say, because we learned to look at ourselves truthfully, in all our beauty and all our flaws, and to love ourselves anyway. This story teaches us several profound truths. First, running from our flaws only gives them power over us. Queen Amara tried to destroy all mirrors because she could not face what she saw in her reflection. But in doing so, she gave her fears the power to harm her entire kingdom. We must have the courage to acknowledge our imperfections. Second, truth has many faces. The cursed mirror showed only the queen's flaws, but that was not the complete truth. We are all mixtures of light and shadow, strength and weakness, beauty and flaw. To see only one side is to see incompletely. Third, one person's courage can save many. ESI was just a weaver's daughter, but she had something more valuable than wealth or power. She had the courage to speak truth and the wisdom to see clearly. We do not need to be powerful to make a difference. We need to be brave. Fourth, our greatest enemy is often our own vanity and fear. The jealous spirit could not have cursed the kingdom if Queen Amara had not been so concerned with her own beauty and so afraid of her own flaws. When we are secure in ourselves, accepting both our light and our darkness, external forces cannot manipulate us so easily. Fifth, mirrors do not lie, but sometimes we need help interpreting what they show us. ESI helped the queen understand that seeing her flaws did not make her a monster, it made her human. We all need people in our lives who can help us see ourselves truthfully but compassionately. Finally, the most important person you must be honest with is yourself. As Kofi said, the hardest person to be truthful with is yourself. But until we can look at ourselves clearly, seeing both our beauty and our blemishes, our strengths and our weaknesses, we cannot truly grow or lead or love. Let us all have the courage to look in the mirror and see ourselves truly. Not to feed our vanity, but to understand ourselves. Not to hide our flaws, but to acknowledge them and grow beyond them. For in truth, there is freedom, and in acceptance of ourselves, there is peace.